What's going on, everyone? So let's talk about Eric Dixon. He is a guy that has been linked to the Lakers, that many mock drafts even have the Lakers selecting him in the draft. Definitely would be open to it, definitely would be okay with it. Now, he's kind of more probably slotted in as like a power forward, maybe small ball center, right? Where I personally would kind of prefer more like athletic perimeter wings or just go get like a legit center. Personally, that's why like I wouldn't be upset. Like if the Lakers draft Dixon, I'm all for it. But I would prefer to go get kind of more twitchier athletic type of center. He's kind of more of that big physical burly type of forward. Right, 6'8", 6'9" size, just big, physical, strong, is not afraid to bang with the big boys, right? He's a guy, like a Zach Randolph, Rui Hachimura, kind of like the more stockier, lower center of gravity, bang down low type of forwards, right? As opposed to kind of more of that like athletic, twitchy, defend multiple positions type forward. Now, he's a guy that is very skilled. He's also older. It's why he's projected to fall to a team like the Lakers at 55. He's 24 years old, which, even a guy like Dalton Connect, and as good as he was a guy that, was as high as like the 5th pick in last year's draft, ended up falling all the way to 17th to the Lakers, right? Because, again, teams want kind of the upside, the potential, the youth, the superstar, where Eric Dixon is a guy that you'd be looking at to come in and, be that Julius Randle type player, at some point, right? And he's a guy that could even make an impact off the bench right now, right? He's a guy that is looked at as kind of more NBA ready, right? Which is why it would make sense for the Lakers to draft him. Lakers are trying to kind of balance this line of, rebuilding, like soft rebuild around Luka, while also contending and competing for right now, which is very hard to do. But getting a guy like an Eric Dixon is a guy that could potentially bridge those, right? He could be a guy that could easily slot in as like a backup for LeBron James, kind of be like your 8th, 9th guy in your rotation, maybe potentially right out the gate. Lakers have had a lot of success with these kind of older, more seasoned college pros that come in, right? Lakers do a really good job of hitting on those type of guys. And the reason for that is, again, they're just more mature at that stage. At 24, he's not coming in looking to be the best player in basketball, right? He's coming in and understanding like, hey, I'm here to play a role. I'm here to play a part. I'm here to kind of fill a void that a team is looking to fill, and let me come in and play my part, right? And how is he going to get minutes on the Lakers, right? By being able to come in and play that role, do the dirty work, make the hustle plays, be a big, physical, imposing type of just forward that come in, bang with the big boys, not afraid of the contact, right? Comes from Villanova, so he's part of a very prestigious organization, right? That just no nonsense and stuff like that. So again, a guy that I do think could really help a lot. 6'8", 0.75 inches. So he's a guy basically 6'9". He's 6'9". He's got a 6'11" and a half wingspan. Again, talk about a guy, power forward, center type. Now, as far as like the weaknesses and stuff, definitely has a couple. The defensive side of the ball needs to kind of get a better feel and grasp for that. Again, he's big, strong, physical, not afraid to bang with the big boys, but the positioning, right? He's not this like this, he doesn't shift very well. Again, he's kind of more of those stockier forwards, right? Like Rui Hachimura has his issues defending, out on the perimeter, right? But he's a guy that can bang with the big boys and defend at the 4 and the 5. Basically what you'd get with Eric Dixon, right? He's a guy that can defend at the 4 and the 5. He's a guy that you could slot in. Again, big, physical, strong, got the weight behind him. He's 260, right? Can do a little bit of everything. You look at his stats. He also shoots the 3 ball well. He is a guy that could get you buckets, right? That's what he's looked at. He shot almost 41% from 3-point range last year in college. He averaged 35 minutes per game, 45.1% from the field, 40.7% from 3-point range, 81% from the foul line, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, half a block. We'll round up to a full steal. It was really 0.8 and 23.3 points. He's a guy that gets you buckets, right? He's a guy that can, be a legit scorer, finish through contact, knock down the mid-range, step out, knock down the three ball. He could be kind of like your stretch four. Again, basically like a Julius Randle type, right? There's questions about Julius Randle and his defense and all that stuff, but he's a guy that's not afraid of contact, that kind of bullies his way to the basket, stretch the floor, knock down the three ball, right? Knock down the mid-range, right? Take guys off the dribble, all of that stuff, right? Now, again, you look at kind of like his pros, projected NBA three percentage, which I just talked about. He shot the three ball very well. He's a guy that's looked at as having the ability to stretch the floor, knock down the three ball with some consistency, points, right? He's a scorer. He's a bucket getter, right? He's a guy that, he could be our Rui replacement. Like if the Lakers were going to trade Rui, right? I've talked about it. Many other people have talked about it. Rui is best at the four, but the problem is like you're paying him $18 million. He's been really good. And, he's kind of adapted and evolved to the three. He just still is best. He's still really a four. He's playing out of position. But are you really going to bring him off the bench? Well, you could go get a guy in Eric Dixon who could be that, but off the bench. And then you could turn Rui into like an Andrew Wiggins or something like that. Just kind of using him as an example, right? So give you a guy that gives you the 3-point shooting. I don't think he'll be as good as Rui was right out the gate, right? Like, but I think he's a guy that, again, gives you the shooting, gives you the floor spacing, can kind of bang with the big boys. Rebounding is definitely something that he needs to work on. A lot of that is just positioning, right? And properly boxing out and kind of getting a better feel for where the ball is coming off, right? All of his flaws, right? He's probably one of the more ready now NBA players, right? For a team that wants an impact guy. Like if you're looking for a guy, again, he's not really my favorite because I personally would rather just go get a center or go get a legit perimeter 3-and-D guy, especially if you're even looking for like a help now, right? I've talked about like a Zion James, I think is a guy that could make an immediate impact for Lakers. I think there's a couple guys like that. But again, I would be stoked if the Lakers ended up drafting him, right? I'd be hyped because again, I think he's a guy that can help right now. I think he could play a role right now. I think he's a guy that could come in. Obviously not going to give you 23 points a game, but like I think he's a guy that legit could give you, give him 15 minutes of action, right? In like a backup role. I could see him maybe being like an 8-and-4 guy, right? Something in that range where, he can knock down a 3 or 2, right? Get a couple just like rebounds and putbacks, right? A lot of it's just positioning. But all the things that are real flaws for him are all things that I think can be fixed rather quickly, right? I don't think that there's anything about his game. Obviously, the upside and potential and like him ever being a star or anything like that, I think is very slim. But like him being able to come in and be an immediate impact guy and be a guy that can, really be a force out there for the Lakers, I think that you just make a couple of just little tweaks to him, boom, he's right there and he's ready to play. Again, not a guy I'm looking to start or play 30 minutes a night or anything like that, but I do think he's a guy that can play a significant role and really kind of help this Lakers roster. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Else but not, if you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. And that subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.